Hey, wholeness family.
Wholeness, wholeness.
One of
Oldest, oldest.
one of the things that we have been emphasizing from the beginning is the fact that the divine feminine was replaced and suppressed and given almost so obscured that it was pretty much eliminated from its place in the creation, in the cosmos, in all knowledge and knowledge based systems. And Nasik began speaking about this at the very beginning. Nasik, Do David, uh, Malkiel, Kalaya, they began speaking about this and emphasizing this at the very beginning. And of course, I was in agreement with this. And as we move forward and we begin to decode this reality, we began to um, assess our true history. Now, see, this is something that keeps coming back up. And
Coming up, keep coming up, huh?
because it is essential to any correct and clear understanding that we are going to gain relative to any subject. I don't care what it is. If we're talking about the material world or the physical world, we're talking about the astral plane, we're talking about the simulated reality, we're talking about the multiverse, the cosmos, no matter what subject it is, we must revive this aspect of the divine feminine
You're not gonna get around it, huh?
and put it in its proper place. Otherwise, nothing else is going to make any sense. And
Okay, let's go for it.
as we move forward, we're going to do a little review of what we went over uh, the other day. And so much has been added to this, Nasi, as we, dig deeper and deeper into the subject matter. And the subject matter is never not ourselves.
Always, always, always.
Subject matter is always ourselves.
Yes,
So if we use that as the divine North Star, we'll never go wrong. But
right.
much has been done relative to removing the divine feminine from its rightful place of primacy and centrality and importance. And unless and until we, again, fix this back into the proper framework, nothing is going to make any sense for us. It's going to be very difficult, especially as we now see journey into the cosmic realms of higher consciousness.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we began with our understanding of ourselves as stars. And I mean that in every sense, that we are the stars of this great story, this great narrative that is being played out in real time, family. We are the stars. And from a cosmic level, that is our makeup. That is our origin. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And as we see with the Star Tarot, it's so much being said in this family, so much that is being said in the symbols in this representation. We see the woman kneeling with one knee on the earth, right?
Yes.
One foot,
Mm-hmm.
one foot in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is the star family. One foot
Yeah.
in the water, pouring water in the pond or in the lake or in the river, then pouring the other water, pitcher of water on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see a tree in the background to the right, right here, with a bird in the tops of the branches. All of this is symbolic. And then you see the representation of 8 stars with 8 points on them. All right?
Yeah.
8 stars with 8 points on them. And again, this is very, very important. The representation, the general representation of the woman is family Aquarius, the water bearer.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Keep that in
Yeah.
mind. Keep that in mind because our ancient ancestors, I mean, they did this thing, Nasi, so meticulously,
Yeah.
and that we cannot miss once once we straighten our mentality out, once we straighten our perception out, and have the proper thoughts and therefore the proper relationship to these symbols. All right? Genesis 1:14 through 18, and then 20. Talking about these stars now. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. Let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. This is saying that these lights, all right, in the firmament will control things on earth within the physical realm. Correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And let there be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. And he made the stars also, and God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let the waters, see, here are the waters now. Y'all see?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's why she's pouring the water. And let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. Very symbolic here.
Yes.
Very symbolic representation here. And so we see the star in the representation, all right, the stars in the heavens, in the firmament, the woman with the water. And from a biological standpoint, the woman is the water bearer as it relates to creation, right?
Right.
Because when a
Mm-hmm.
child is born, it is said that the woman, prior to that, her water breaks
Right.
and goes forth, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these symbols as they relate to creation, as they relate to creation. Now notice I didn't say the creation, I said creation, period.
Right.
The most powerful creative element, the primal
Come on.
creative element is in the physical realm is the woman.
Is the
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Prior to what you've been taught under this patriarchal dominance, prior to what you thought that this is central, the feminine aspect manifest physically as the woman is the most powerful and primary creative aspect within the physical realm.
absolutely.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which which standeth rather for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, hearkening back to what Nasik brought, such as never was since there was a nation even to that time. And Nasik, you know, this trouble is internal.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The
Yes.
trouble is internal,
Yep.
primary, because when I say these things about the divine feminine, you know, and as we make these declarations, there's this little internal turmoil in some of
Mm-hmm.
us.
Mm-hmm. Come on, Shells. Come on.
Brethren, going on up now. Going on
Right.
up.
Absolutely.
Do yourself,
Absolutely.
do
This
yourself
is
a big favor right here and
yes.
what? Get on copper that ego
Right.
and don't let it raise up.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, we all, Nasi, have been programmed like this
Right.
Absolutely.
to think that we are king, that we are, supreme, and this is false.
False,
False.
false, false.
And we're gonna break this down today because it is necessary for us to enter into the cosmic realm.
Yes.
Right.
Our thoughts have to be correct, family, or we're going to get rejected. We are not
Exactly.
going to advance. Our thoughts, our mentality, our consciousness has to be correctly aligned. Must be correctly aligned. Are you all with me?
Yes.
Okay.
And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. See, we got to get this right now. Some to everlasting life, some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. They that turn many to righteousness, as stars forever and ever. But thou, O Daniel, see, here it is, family. Shut up the words, seal the book, even to the
Mm-hmm.
time of the end. So even from a logical standpoint, we can understand that the shutting up of the book, the sealing of the book, would not allow us to have what? The proper understanding of these
Right.
things.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we all fell under that aspect, even our teachers. Why?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because the
Yes.
words were shut up, the book was sealed to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Now, again, that is what happened. There was a
That's
there was a foundation. There was a foundation of knowledge that was laid for all of us.
Yes.
but the final chapter would be written what? In the end time. The final interpretation and decoding would be done in the end time. That just makes logical
Yes.
sense. From
Absolutely.
we can understand that now, see, intellectually.
Absolutely.
It don't take no great spiritual understanding to realize that if the books were sealed up, if they were shut up until the time of the end, the clarity would come what? In the end time.
Right.
Because that because a lot of times when we look at this, the things that our ancestors did, it was on a need to know basis.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all got to hear me.
Yes.
Why would you need to know, you were going to be in a generation that passed away? You emanated into a generation that would not be in the end time. So the generational knowledge that you needed was provided for you. But from that period of time, like it says, knowledge would what? Increase. Are you all with me?
Right.
So we are on a need to know basis. So generations that individuals that emanated in prior generations would not need to know what we uh, need to know. And here's the irony, Nasi. We still holding on to information from generations past.
Right. There you go. That's the problem.
That knowledge was good for them, but it's supposed
Right.
to do what? Increase.
Absolutely.
We can intellectually understand that. We don't need no spiritual insight to understand that. That just makes good, rational sense. Does it not?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Genesis 1:14 and 15. And God said, let there be lights. The word for light is ma'oraot. 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 Luminaries in the firmament of the heavens. That's feminine, family.
Mm-hmm.
Ma'orah. But this is what Nasi and David and Kaliah were saying, that it was Yahuwah, but they changed it to what? Yahweh. They
Yes.
changed
Right.
it from feminine to masculine. And this is hard for us to uh, conceptualize. Even though now, see, intellectually, we can see that AH is feminine and EH is
Mm-hmm.
masculine. It's hard for us to conceptualize.
Can't let it go. You've had that cycle of time where you have been pressed into a position that gave you some authority, you know what I'm saying? Although it was fictitious, but you accepted it because you benefited,
That's correct.
in that world. And now you got an opportunity. If you break away from he who had dominion over you, you think you would benefit like him.
That's
Right.
right.
Come on. Come on. Come on, Nasi.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And see, these things are for signs, for seasons, for days and years. Even from the physical aspect, the feminine biology reacts more to what? The changes than the male biology. Every
Mm-hmm.
month, she is what? She is aligned with the cycles of the moon. This is very important.
Yes,
Yes.
you're right.
Shows.
You're
Come on,
absolutely right.
shows. Absolutely.
Right.
We, some of us know
Yes.
exactly the cycles by what? What's going on in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So just again, from a rational standpoint, from an intellectual standpoint, we already know this. We already know that this must be what? Feminine. Must be
Mm-hmm.
feminine. You know, that internal clock, Nasi,
Yeah.
you know, the birth cycle, the development of, little boys and little girls basically look the same physically until what? Puberty. And then
Yeah.
the feminine drastically changes. Those changes are drastic. The boy in puberty goes from looking like a little old boy to a bigger old boy. You understand what I'm saying? The feminine can go from looking like a little boy to looking like a little girl to a woman, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we know these things just from a common sense aspect. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the face of the earth, or upon the earth, and it was so. This word maor, and it's meorah. Uh, I'm sorry, in the plural it is meorah, not not. It doesn't have the o on the end. I'm sorry.
No, you're right, Eitai. You're absolutely right. Because I got a grandson. His name is More. Um, uh, Instead of Mayor, it's
Yeah,
Maor. His
yeah,
name is Maor.
yes,
Same thing. One is feminine, one is masculine.
that's correct. So
Yeah.
and it means a luminous body, or a luminary, a luminous body, or a luminary. Abstractly, it means light as an element. All right, as an element. This is what we're going to look at, meaning brightness, a bright light. A luminary is a person who inspires or influences others, especially
Right.
one prominent in a particular sphere or realm.
Yes.
The word star now is kava. Come on now.
Uh, Come on
Mm-hmm.
now. Right.
And family. It means to
Right.
prick. It means
To prick.
prick
Yeah.
or penetrate.
That's what
Yes.
I'm talking about.
And it
Mm-hmm.
relates to burning. All
Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Now remember, we
Mm-hmm.
talked about the seraphim, the fiery serpent.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know, Malkiel, this ain't nothing, it ain't talking about nothing but the Kundalini spirit, this
Game.
Kundalini energy. Are you all with me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That is feminine. Kava. I mean, come on now.
Right.
It means to prick. We get the term nikava. Nikava.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
To prick or penetrate. Now, I
Yeah.
thought that it was common sense would make you think that that was the male organ that penetrates.
Right. Yes.
No, that's what we was told.
That's what
Yeah.
we were
Yeah.
told.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna see something entirely different. And it relates to smarting, or look, eating
Right.
into. Listen, fam.
Oh,
See, we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna start. We're gonna talk about this idea of moving from getting nourishment. Now, see, from
yeah.
solar energy to cosmic. We've already talked about that,
Yes.
and the burning of energy. I mean, we talk about this in terms of calories, right?
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and the burning of energy. This this term luminary means something that influences. And influence is an ethereal fluid held to flow from the stars to affect the actions of humans. Number two, an emanation of occult or hidden power held to derive from stars. We've already established that this is feminine,
Yes, yes.
an emanation of spiritual or energetic or moral force. Moral force, all right, or power. The act of producing an effect, the power of or capacity of causing an effect, one that exerts influence. Now, they're going to talk about this in astrological terms. And again, when we look back, we see Aquarius represented, right? In
Yeah.
the water bearer. So all of this is connected. I'm just walking you through. In astrological terms, a streaming of ethereal power. I want y'all to write the word ether down. Ether or Aether. Ether, Aether. A streaming of ethereal power from the stars. Listen, when in certain positions, acting upon character or destiny of men. Acting upon when in certain positions, acting upon the character and destiny of men.
Look out now. That's an interesting point there.
Come on, man.
Yes.
Wow.
It says
When
it's an emanation from the stars that acts upon one's character and destiny.
Yeah.
And destiny.
Mm-hmm.
It also a flow of water. A flow of water. So we understand that everyone is birthed into Nasi, this physical world, due to what? A flow of water.
That's right.
Now, look, I told you that we weren't created like that, but we emanated. We emanated from what? From the stars. We emanated from the stars, an emanation from the stars. And the reason why we each emanated in here is to have an influence, an impact, to cause an effect within the physical. All of this stuff, it matters. It matters. And it's a flowing in. Now, family, think with me. We said that we bypassed relative to the four creative elements: fire, water, what? Air and earth, right? That we bypass the way that we got in here is bypassing the fire and impacting upon what first? The water.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
As above, so below. So we flowed in from the water
Yes.
in the process of emanation. Are y'all with me?
Absolutely, shows.
So all life flows in. Whether on earth, look at the water pouring on the earth, life in the water flowing in, right? And you see the bird, they flow in, right?
Yeah.
So all life is represented here. This is very important that we establish this. Now, right next to the word ether, or under it, write earth, air, fire, water. Earth, air, fire, water, and then make a 5-pointed star next to or near those 5 things.
Mhm.
4 elements plus 1. Earth, air, fire, water, ether. It's going to come into important. It's going to be gravely important. We never get away from these 4 elements. And there are actually 5. Ankh Afna Kansu decoded. Kansu is not the moon. He couldn't be. Although we have the man in the moon, that was the moon is feminine. All right, the moon is feminine. You know, and we all know that it has influence on things, especially water on the earth, right?
Yes.
Counts for the wave, the ebbing and the flowing of the sea, the raising and the lowering of the water within our physical body, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is also influences what? Mood, much the same as the stars. Mood and character and behavior. He is also male. You see what they're saying? They straighten this thing out.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, defines the process of supporting the strong electrical field of the feminine star.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Supporting. Yes.
We here for support, family.
Yes.
His
So
hieroglyphs.
Eitai.
Go ahead.
So who is the real helpmate?
Come on now. We're going to straighten it out.
Where's the real helpmate?
Right.
I see everything got flipped. We're gonna show you. We're gonna show you over and over again. Absolutely right, Malkiel. His hieroglyphs describe the photosphere connection to the ether,
Mm-hmm.
operating the weak electrical field. That's the male.
That's the male.
Mm-hmm.
Support the strong electrical coronal field, electric field of the star.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The feminine.
Yes.
He was one of the companions of Thoth, meaning electrical potential or voltage. Keep this in mind. He holds the scepter now,
Mm-hmm.
defining him as a receptor or receiver of the power,
Mm.
or the
Hey, that's a
Mm.
big difference. Yeah.
Yes.
or
Big
the
difference.
or the prick or the penetrating energy of the feminine.
Yes.
As that's what we stated. Each time we stated that that's what he had to do. The female had to penetrate and he had to receive that in order to activate himself.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah, we stated that.
That's right. He is also often shown supported by the plasma pinch hieroglyph and is similar to Ptah. Moving forward. Support life. That's Ankh. The cross. Now, write down the word cross now. Going to be very important. Means life. The loop is the support. Whatever is shown inside or through the loop is an aspect of the electrical universe supporting life. The Ankh, shown below as an example, it shows Kepri supporting the stars, describing the electrical current of the cosmos supporting life. The Ankh is used throughout Egyptology to explain the fundamental purpose of the hieroglyphs and the pyramids, Malkiel, to support all life in the cosmos. The truth is, the hieroglyphs are not phonetic sounds and thus were never deciphered by Champollion using the Rosetta Stone. Instead, and this is the claim, they said the people have never deciphered the hieroglyphs. Instead, the hieroglyphs are sacred logograms gifted to the planet Earth by the cosmos, that is, cosmic beings, intelligence, consciousness, that was possessed, what? By our ancestors. Are you all with me?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
GodElectric.org deciphered the hieroglyphs for positive and negative charge. Write that down, positive and negative charge. Positive, put the plus sign there, negative, the minus sign. The plus sign looks like what? A cross,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Showing how unique characteristics of the animals, plants, and objects familiar to the ancient Egyptian are used to present functions and natural principles of the universe beyond. This was achieved in 2013, proving that we are not alone in the cosmos and that a higher order of supreme beings, those are our ancestors,
Yes.
have supported life here on Earth through electrical discharge. Through electrical discharge. GodElectric.org deciphered each hieroglyph carefully as a pictographic code rather than just a phonetic sound or letter. The supremacy, Nasi, of what? Symbols over language.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
The website is largely censored by the earthly powers of greed and the cartels that run the planet, as they are guilty of iniquity in front of the cosmos and God. The GodElectric.org hieroglyphs have opened the door to all who read and understand it, enabling the correlation of both male and female representations. Prior to this, it was just interpreted what? Relative to its male qualities,
Wow. Yeah.
explaining how positive and negative charge, magnetism, gravity, plasma,
Plasma, right.
and
Okay.
even the pyramids function as part of the electric cosmos with God, that is divinity and consciousness. Malkiel called me prior to when we got off the last time we was on, and he explained a little bit about this word pyramid as it related to energy. Malkiel, do you have that information
Absolutely.
in front of you? Give it to us in a short fashion, and then I'm going to call on you to tie the rest of that in, okay?
Okay.
All right. The etymology of pyramid.
The etymology of pyramid comes from the word pyri or piri, which is a noun. In the 1650s, from the Latin pyra, and directly from the Greek pyra or pyrrha, which means funeral pyre,
Means a
altar,
funeral pyre or fire.
right? Altar for sacrifice.
Altar for sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. And any place where fire is kindled.
So it's a dwelling place of fire. Write that down, family. Dwelling place of fire. If that don't sound like the feminine, brother,
I'm telling you.
go ahead.
And then mid. The word mid means middle, center, or balance. So that took me to the rare man.
Uh,
But
Now,
I'll stop there.
all right, brother. I appreciate it. So all we
Mm-hmm.
have to do, Nasi, is where is the dwelling place of fire that is in the middle of the body?
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right,
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna see
right.
this. We're gonna see this term from the loins downward and from
Yes,
the loins upward.
yes.
Yes.
Toda Malkiel.
Lord of our.
Let's go forward. The collector. Now remember, we said that the male is the receiver or the receptor, right?
Right,
Mm-hmm.
And the female is the source. Here we
right.
go. The ostrich feather. In about 600 BC, the ancient Greek philosopher Thales of Miletus became aware of electricity. Now, last time we talked about it, we said they're going to try to say he discovered it. But if he was a Greek, he became aware of it because one of the Kemetic ancestors taught him about
Yes,
it. And so they say discovering that when amber is rubbed and held close to a feather, it pushes away the feather's electrons. The feather becomes positively charged and is attracted to the amber. Now, amber, is that a name for a man or a woman?
well,
Female. Mm-hmm.
it's a female, right?
It's a
Amber.
female's name,
Mm-hmm.
amber. And amber is a color as well.
It's a color as well, right?
And it is kind of a goldish color like honey, a yellow goldish color like honey.
Yes.
What is the color of the sacral chakra?
Uh-huh.
that's
Okay.
that's in the middle
Yes.
of the body.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This is referring to the yoni.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna
Yeah.
talk some adult stuff, so we're gonna have to grow up here.
Right. Come on, Eitai.
This is talking about how a man interacts with a woman, how
Yes,
the
it is.
male sexual energy interacts with the feminine sexual energy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
When
Mm-hmm.
the amber is rubbed, this is talking about foreplay, family,
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
and held close to a feather. That's the male organ.
Yes.
Yes.
It pushes away the feather's electrons. The
Mm-hmm.
feather becomes positively charged and is what? Attracted to the amber.
Yeah.
If y'all can't see that,
Totally make totally
Yeah.
makes sense, shows. Totally
That's
makes sense.
so clear.
Yes.
remarkable for its static electrical properties, Baltic amber was known by the Romans as the electrum, compared to the word electric and the goddess Electra. This is simple if we know what to look for.
Yes.
Now, a feather, we're going to find out, it collects dust.
Come on, shows. I know where you're going.
Now look, the black hole eats the star. Watch. The star is torn apart or destroyed or eaten or consumed. Are you all with me?
Okay.
In the hole, the fragments light up the black hole, this accretion disk around the black hole, and it looks like what? A serpent circling around this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then a narrow, powerful beam of radiation blasts towards the Earth along the black hole's spinning axis. That is cosmic dust.
Yes.
That is cosmic dust. That's what gods eat. We have to make this transition from the solar to the cosmic. Breaking this down now.
Come on.
Ezekiel, the first chapter. We're not going to read the whole chapter. I just pulled out some verses because we're going to go back and we're going to expand on this further. Ezekiel, the first chapter, and look, and I look, this has to do with sex, family. We're going to have to grow up. It has to do with sex on the physical in terms of what? Reproduction and creation. But it talks about cosmic creation as well. But in order for us to relate, we got to relate from what? Where we're at. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north. Where is the north in relation? Is it up or down?
According to the calendar, it would be up.
It would be up. So,
Like a map,
has anybody here been in a position when you were with the opposite or with a mate where energetically, family, your head was like a whirlwind? You had thoughts and emotions because listen, sex doesn't take place between the legs. It takes place in the mind.
That's the beginning of everything.
In the brain, let me say, Nasi, in the brain.
Yeah, that's where it begins at.
It's mental. It's mental.
It's in the conscious realm.
Absolutely. And so this whirlwind begins. A great cloud, a fire, listen, enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it. Now, let's see what is central. Well, what is always central, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber.
Yeah.
It might start in the you might think it's centered in the sacral or loin region, but it is actually this whirlwind going on in the brain.
In the brain.
Tell me something.
Yeah.
We have not experienced this.
Eitai, if you remove the brain, you won't know what's going on.
You don't know what's going on. You wouldn't be able to even experience this.
Right.
And so it was the color of amber. So it's the feminine energy is always what? In the midst of fire, or the energetic, electrical, creative source.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of what? 4 living creatures. These are the 4 creative elements, family. 4 creative elements. and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. Wrong. Wrong.
Right, yeah, yeah, right.
Wrong. Everyone had four faces. Listen, everyone had four faces. We're going to break this down. A man, and it's actually a woman, but we'll leave it like they got it. A lion, an ox, and an eagle. And everyone had four wings. Very important. The living creatures are the four material or primary elements: earth, fire, water, and air.
Absolutely, right, right.
Now there's one, again, that is there, but you don't see right away. It's hidden. And
Right,
that
right.
is ether,
Ether, right.
fifth element. We're going to break this down, family. This is, once you put the feminine in its proper place, it makes sense.
Yep.
As for the
Oh,
likeness of the living creatures, somebody has something to say.
I was just going to say, without those elements there, I don't care what you try to define, you're not going to bring forth no substance.
That you're not. You're just going to perpetuate, now see, the box and the simulated reality that you're already in.
Yes.
As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps, family, that went up and down among the living creatures. These are the activated chakra.
And shows.
The activated chakra. The fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning, an electrical charge.
Right.
An electrical charge. This is simple once we understand what these symbols mean. And the living creatures, now see, ran and returned.
Yeah.
As the appearance of a flash of lightning.
Yeah.
Now, Yeshua in the narrative says that, look, don't look for all these false teachers. If they say he's in the desert, don't go. They say he's in here, don't go. As lightning, what? Flashes across the sky, so shall be the coming of the Son of Man. Don't look up, look within.
That's what he said, right?
Are y'all with me?
Yeah.
It's talking about the Christ consciousness and how it's going to energize. It's going to be electric.
That's a kundalini. Yes,
That's
yes.
that kundalini. It ran and returned.
Yeah.
Positive and negative charges. Malkiel, how they arc from pole to pole. How they arc from pole to pole.
Oh, right.
Remember, it says that Kansu is the electrical potential or voltage. He holds the scepter, defining him as a receiver of the power. All right?
Yes.
And that power runs from the feminine to the masculine, and from the masculine back to the source, to the feminine. Running back and forth. And above the firmament. Now remember, we talked about the firmament as it relates to the stars, was over their heads. That was over their heads. It said the likeness of a throne, and the appearance of a sapphire stone. What color is sapphire?
I'm not.
Blue or indigo, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that is talking about the third eye chakra.
Yes.
That is indigo, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, brothers and sisters, is if the name sapphire,
Okay. Right.
that masculine or feminine?
Yes. Come on, show.
Right. That's feminine.
Feminine.
When you saw that now, my father, when they called a woman sapphire, she was showing up bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Are y'all with me?
Yeah. I
Right.
remember. Right.
Now that is the third eye family represented. I remember we said it was represented by, like on the dollar bill, that it wasn't the eye of Horus, that it was the eye of what? Isis.
ISIS.
All this fits together. And upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as the appearance of man above upon of a man above upon it. Now this is what this is what they've been trying to do for centuries,
Yes. Yes.
is to put
Yeah.
the man on the throne.
That's
Yes.
what you're trying to do. Right.
It's not the man, it's the woman.
Yeah.
It's the woman that sits on that throne. And I saw as the color of amber, this is proving it, as the appearance of fire round about within it, from what? The appearance of his loins even upward. And from the appearance of his loins even downward. Y'all got to know that this is talking about the divine feminine. And it's
Got to be, Ty. Got to be.
and its
Yes.
effect, even if we leave it as a man, it's the amber color. That's the divine feminine.
Hey, Ty.
That is affecting the man. That is what? Burning him.
Hey, Ty. You made a point there that I don't want this point to get biased. You said, it sits on the throne, right?
Yes.
See, but we didn't misinterpret the throne. We said the throne was the heart, but
Yeah.
the throne is not the heart. The throne is the yoni.
That
She
is
sits on the throne.
that's correct.
That make all the sense in the world.
Watch this now. See, you absolutely correct. From the appearance of his loins even downward. So it's talking about the activating power of feminine kundalini energy,
Yeah.
activating the chakras from the
Yes.
loins upward and
Yes.
the loins down, the upward chakras and the lower chakras. As it were, the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about it. So we're clear. We don't even have to go into any more explanation. But once now
We,
you
we
read
yeah.
you read it in its entirety, it's going to make sense. Now we're going to talk about the wheel within the wheel. A wheel in the middle of the wheel or inside of a wheel are called ophanim.
Opening, right.
Literally wheels, cycles, or ways. They're talking about
Mm-hmm.
cycles, family, that are connected to
Yeah.
one another,
Yeah.
that are
Come on, show.
related to another in continuous motion. Now, see,
Yeah.
generation
Yeah.
after generation after generation, that is the DNA. And in particular,
Absolutely.
mitochondrial DNA. Look,
Yeah.
you see the mitochondria.
That's the first.
That's right. And then you look, and
That's the first chapter of Ecclesiastes.
that's correct.
Yeah.
Now look, y'all see the little mitochondrial DNA look like little
Mm-hmm.
wheels with what?
Mm-hmm.
Wheels inside of them, cycles,
Yeah.
other cycles inside of them.
Yeah.
See, well, you got to put the feminine back in her place now. Even the
Yes.
map, Nasig, of the mitochondrial DNA looks the way they represent it looks like wheels inside of wheels, don't it?
Right. Yeah.
And this is one of the ancient representations of the description of these wheels. We'll go through it very quickly. These wheels are not directly under the chariot. When they say chariot, they're talking about the Merkabah. The Merkabah. All right? that is the representation of our bodies. We've gone through this before, what they call our solar bodies or our spiritual bodies. All right? That is the vehicle, the chariot, the Merkabah that we travel around in. But it's multi-dimensional. So when you see the description, as one goes, right, they all go.
Yeah. Yeah.
The angel with the face of a man. Now we said that was the woman. Is always on the east side. See, that was the first. The east represents the primal, where things start, where the sun rises, right?
Yeah.
So that means the most ancient understanding was not of a man, but it was of a woman.
Yeah.
That's clear.
It's clear.
And looks
Plain.
up look at the likeness of a man. The
Yeah.
likeness of a man.
Mm-hmm.
That what? Drives the chariot. The likeness of a man sits on a throne made of sapphire.
Wow.
The Bible later makes mention of a third type of angel found in the Merkabah called the seraphim. Now, we've already said that was what? The fiery serpents.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
These angels, what they call, appear like flashes of fire, continuously ascending and descending. Now, see, you already said that's the Kundalini energy.
That's Kundalini energy, right?
Now, look, it's easy for us to decipher these things.
Yes.
These seraphim, or what they refer to as angels, power the movement of the chariot or the Merkabah. The hierarchy of these angels, seraphim, are the highest. that's the feminine. That's the Kundalini energy that is
Mm-hmm.
closest to God or the divine, followed by what they call the Hayot, living creatures. We already said that, and are followed by the Ophanim. Those are the four. Um, the Ophanim. Let's go back. Are the wheels in the middle of the wheel, right? The cycles. The
Mm-hmm.
cycles. So, which are followed by the Ophanim. These interrelated, interconnected, entangled Nasi cycles.
Yeah.
The chariot is in constant state of motion. Now, that means it's vibrating. It's in a constant state of motion that tells you that it's illusory. If it vibrates, it's an illusion. The physical body is an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
The physical, what's called the physical universe, or the universe, is an illusion. It is a
Come on, sir.
figment. It is a figment of your mind. That's what makes it. And the energy behind this movement runs according to this hierarchy. That means that we can control it. We are controlling it now, see?
Absolutely,
Yes.
Eitai.
We are
Absolutely.
the ones running the projector. The movement of the Ophanim, or cycle, is controlled by the Hayot, the four living creatures, or the four what? Elements of creation.
Mm-hmm.
While the movement of the Hayot is controlled by what? The divine feminine that sits on the throne. The movement of all the angels of the chariot is controlled by the likeness of a man. Now, again, family, if you still think that you like a man, you are controlling the illusion, or perpetuating your what? Existence within the simulated reality.
Mm-hmm.
Is a man on the throne, or is God on the throne? Takes on a whole different meaning, doesn't it?
Whole different
Dang.
meaning.
Electricity was always a familiar concept to the ancient Egyptian, who chose the ostrich feather when making feather dusters. Ostrich feathers are impractical for use as a fan. The reason they're saying that, because a lot of times you see in the depictions of the Egyptians, they'll have these ostrich feathers on a standard, on a stick. You all know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
in a movie, you'll see them fanning, the royalty, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they said, nah, that is fake. They were dusters. Those were like antenna, because of what? Their intrinsic ability to hold electrostatic charge. The duster works because opposite charges attract, male and female, allowing for the collection of dust particles. Look, what dust particles you talking about, Eitai? Cosmic dust particles.
Absolutely.
Got to move from this solar reality to a cosmic reality. The ostrich feather has a tip that bends over under the weight of collective material, and therefore is deciphered as collector, receiver, receptor. So look, this is why we see the headdress on the chief, or the king, or the leader of the tribe. You all with me?
Uh-huh.
Because that indicated his ability,
Dang.
on the one hand, to what? Collect and receive cosmic knowledge.
That's what it means, Eitai. Right.
Now, we're only shown pictures of the males, family, that are decorated with the feathers. Bear with me. But I'm going to show you the females. Y'all see? Do y'all see him
Mm-hmm.
with the feathers?
Yeah.
This is the ancient representation. The angel with the wings.
Right.
Look,
Yes.
see, but this is outlawed. They've been objectified, right? And
Mm-hmm.
reduced from their central location to what? Entertainment for men.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah,
Look,
exactly right. Exactly right.
this is the true representation of the plumed or feathered serpent. I don't care what y'all say.
Right.
This looks a lot better than this, to me at least.
Right.
We got to get used to the divine feminine. There's another corresponding representation, but it's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be both male. Look, both male and female. Our
Yes.
the more the people that are more what connected to the ancient culture, they're not afraid of this.
Right. Yes.
They're not ashamed of this representation.
Yes.
But usually, we're just taught about what Quetzalcoatl, the plumed serpent, as being what a male, the chief of the Indian tribe with the feathers. And again, this is just a representation, Nasi, of the of the fact that the divine feminine throughout most cultures was what?
That's,
Hidden,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
sure.
was
Absolutely.
suppressed, was
Suppressed, right.
obscured,
Or completely removed.
or completely removed.
Yeah.
Or in this case, like we said, inverted, turned
Yeah.
upside down, objectified. And again, I
Right.
have no problem with the representation of the feminine form, but I'm just talking about the position has just been what? For male entertainment.
Yeah.
But the
That's
original the
Right.
original idea, it's nothing wrong with any of it, but the original idea was the feminine was primary and primal.
primary.
Yes.
All right.
Primary. Are you all with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the symbol of the wing made of feathers joining to a star. Now, the star is feminine. We've already established that.
We already established that.
We didn't already
Mm-hmm.
establish that. So the symbol of the wings, wing made of feathers joining to the star, that is our symbol of the angel. And it's always feminine or effeminate. Am I not correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Can be seen in the records of the ancient cultures residing in various regions of South America as well as Australia. Well, we just showed you the depictions, what, in South America of the star,
Mm-hmm.
what, with wings.
Mm-hmm.
The star joined to wings. This is so simple. It's still represented in South America as well as Australia. It represents the sun, S-O-N or S-U-N, in its flight, and its flight powered by collecting charge. The charge family comes from the feminine, the amber.
Mm-hmm.
Am I
Yes.
correct?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's the
Absolutely.
source. And if it's the woman that's driving it, that's sitting on the
Mm.
throne,
Okay.
that is seated upon what? The power, the yoni. An example of this is shown by placing the butterfly nebula M29 with its visible glow discharged alongside the winged sun. And we see it down there. There's the winged sun, and there's the butterfly nebula.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the energy source with the wings coming from it, the energy discharge, the glow. The electrical nature binds, and the electrical nature, of birds and their anatomy explain the founding principle of electric stars. This is why you see the bird off in the corner. Y'all see that on the star tarot.
Yes.
It's talking about electricity and the founding principle of the electric stars. This concept is explained in further detail by Horus. And we went through and we showed how this plasma sieve is the photosphere connected to a wave. That's the serpent, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the wave energy, sometimes represented by the serpent. The connection point or the conduit, the ether, the weak field, electrical field, what? Supporting Horus, which we often um, define as a male, all right? But we're going to find
Mm-hmm.
out that the hero, write this down, Hiero. We're going to find out who that hero is. We've already been defining her. That is the true hero, Nasi.
Uh-huh.
And we get the word whore from that word
Uh-huh.
because
Uh-huh.
most people, when they look at the representation of the feminine body, they say that's a whore.
Right.
Our religious, we're
One.
ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to show
Yeah.
how this happened. We're ashamed of the feminine form.
Right.
And we say, oh, these are loose women. These are whores. Because the feminine was told to do what? Cover up her body
Yeah.
in,
Mm-hmm.
in religious
Yes.
thinking,
Do religious things, right.
under a religious concept.
Absolutely, yeah.
We didn't have those type of hang-ups, now see. Our ancient ancestors didn't have those type of hang-ups.
See, this masculine, patriarchal dominance done created the need for all of this stuff that we all hung up about today.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Now, this
Yes.
representation here is of the carnival virgin.
Yeah.
We would never, that can't be no virgin. That ain't no virgin.
Right.
But
Right.
in ancient societies, that's how she was represented. Come on now. We got to mature in our understanding.
Yes.
Continuing on. Structured plasma, that is represented by this propped vertical rectangle, shown in front of stars and on the top of pyramidions. It is defined simply as structured plasma and can be understood as the intergalactic power line, or God's electricity. Isn't that what we're trying to connect to and align
Yeah.
ourselves with?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Uh, Family, this is the capstone. This is the capstone because it's shown on top of pyramidions. It's the one that was removed and it was replaced by the Eye of Isis on the dollar bill. The hieroglyph, and here's that word, hiero, we're going to get back to it. That word hiero is depicted in temples as a propped blue rectangle made vertical by a brown support. All rectangle hieroglyphs define a type of plasma. That is the crowning element. Plasma is the crowning element. This is because a rectangle is a large area. It represents the plasma that is 99.9 that composes 99.9% of the electrical universe. Isis, remember,
Wow.
and Osiris are male and female components of structured plasma, meaning the
Wow.
electrical universe exists through love.
Yeah.
Now, everybody is comfortable with that term when I say love,
Yeah.
but
Right.
ain't nobody on the call define it. Our ancestors did not have a concept of love that was separated from sex.
Absolutely
Come
not.
on, shows. Right.
Absolutely.
This, now see, if you all can receive it, harkens back to the separation from day to night.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Mo-
Mm-hmm.
and look, most of us have a different character and persona in the daylight than we do in the nighttime.
Yeah. Wow.
We present a different character in the daylight. And in
Yeah.
the nightlight and in the nighttime, the real shadow person comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And usually it is it is dominated or controlled by sex drive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they said nighttime is the right time, huh?
Nighttime is the right time. Around midnight, in the midnight hour.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Booty call.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Making them and answering them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on now. Let's be adults about this because we're not going to be able to understand this. The electrical universe exists through love. That is sex, the divine union, that singularity, wholeness, oneness of male and female
Mm-hmm.
components, the divine union of opposites. Let's get into this, family. Let's get into this. How the act of sex got denigrated and separated from love. How the act of sex got denigrated and separated from love. We already know this.
We already know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. The modern churches, demonization of the goddess.
Yes.
That's how we started out. Was understood
Yes.
once Dan Brown went into particulars concerning the deviant sex rites of apostate Judaism. Now, this guy Dan Brown wrote the book, The Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, this is the boy, yeah.
I don't know if anyone has either looked at the movie or read the book. I highly
I have not.
recommend that you do both.
Yes. I saw the movie.
Now see, When I was on the inside, when I was in the university, I taught from that book.
Mm.
And we taught a class, one of the most profound classes that we had there was on male-female relationships. And it broke down much of the same things that we're talking about now and the problems that arise from what? The suppression of the divine feminine and the dominance of the patriarchal element. And now see, it gave rise to deviant sex acts and rights. We're gonna talk about this. I'm gonna break it down. All right, I'm gonna break it down, and let's stop right there. And I'm gonna go back because this needs to be broken down. The proper interaction, family, is supposed to be the male stimulating the feminine energy, right? And those two elements, energetic elements coming together and interacting to what? Create. Not just the child, not just the child like we've understood, but the interaction of those energies, Nasi, create reality. It creates our reality.
Yes.
Right, Eitai.
You can produce anything.
That's what I was just finna say. Right.
You can produce
we got stuck in the lower element of just bringing forth a child. But when those energies come together, as you just said, you can create any, who knows what those two energies can bring into existence. But if you keep those two energies divided and separated and at odds with one another, you don't bring anything into existence.
You're not going to bring forth anything. And that's what we've done. We brought forth wind.
Yeah.
Just talk.
Yeah.
Nothing of substance. Because we've had these elements juxtaposed, turned upside down, and we're trying to create things. We're trying to create things with the wrong mental starting point.
There we go. That's perfect. Perfectly clear.
And this is why our children come out like they come out.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Y'all got to understand this. So,
Eitai,
yes.
At this point, we're talking very, very mature here, and it requires a mature, elevated, consciousness to actually grasp this, to take it where it's got to go. So at this point, why don't we just sort of, hold forward and let's see how many sisters is actually on the line, so that we can kind of cause them to feel a little bit more comfortable with where we're going with this, because they play the major role in this here. And they got
absolutely. Yes.
They got to feel comfortable here. You follow me?
That's right. Well, I'm finding out that the class, while it's for all of us, it's for all of us. But the central aspect of it is toward the feminine.
Yeah, but I know how we think. The brothers into the sex thing. The brother, when a woman gets to a certain age and she get into this mature thing of this world, the simulated reality, they sexual drive turn away. They'll tell you things like, well, when it was young, it was all about that, but it ain't about that now.
No,
I know this example.
Look,
I know because up here at Jerusalem, there's nothing going on up here between male and female. There's no relationship. The sisters are completely cold and turn away, and so have the brothers. I'm in the midst of it. I know exactly what
Okay.
I'm talking about.
Now
Wow.
see, it is
Wow.
inevitable. We trying to turn. We got to straighten this out, and it's not
We
just
got
to
to
your
straighten this
point.
out.
Now see, although I'm teaching it, although we're teaching it, the brothers are teaching it. First of all, there is no ulterior motive. There is no
Come on.
ulterior motive other
Yep.
than what? Turning this thing back around.
Mm-hmm.
The sisters are going to be the hero of this.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But
Yes.
if we continue on in this direction, the male and female aspects are going to be doing exactly as you articulated, moving further and further and further apart. So the war is actually between the sexes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That incorporates
Now,
that time of trouble. Now, see,
Eitai, just another point. Now, I recommend very strongly that everybody go back and look at part one and part two, particularly of her story to his story.
that's right.
Because the first war, you understand, that started out was a war against animals, and then went from animals to gender. And we see the gender war continue to this very
That's
day.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nasika became the elders against the the youth.
There you go. Right, right.
And it's because the wrong individual is sitting on the throne, the wrong energetic element.
That's
Yes.
right.
That's what we talking about. We
Mm-hmm.
what ulterior motive? I'm trying to put the thing back in place.
Right,
Right.
right, right.
I'm trying to put the proper element back in place.
Yeah,
Now, see, we can't think of this. See, these things have been politicized,
yeah.
and they become elements of culture and society. We're not talking about we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the science of this thing.
Right, right.
We are talking about straightening this thing out from a mental standpoint first. That is the
Yes.
only way that we're going to be able to produce anything.
Mm-hmm.
But from a physical standpoint, from a material standpoint, the sisters are going to have to what? They're going to have to assume their position. And it is not one of submission. It is the opposite.
No, right,
I know,
right.
I know how we've been trained.
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
how
Yeah.
we've been programmed that the Nasi, that even in the cultural expression of polygynous relationships, that the sisters got to submit. The sisters got to submit.
That's the teaching.
That
That's the teaching.
hey, that's the declaration. But we're gonna find out that in the beginning, that polygyny, it went both ways.
Yeah,
And the feminine
Mm-hmm.
had what? Multiple partners and multiple men. See, we're not
Mm-hmm.
comfortable with that now.
Right.
absolutely
Right.
not.
Come on, shows.
Everybody ain't got tight now. You know, the brothers
Right.
got
Come on,
tight
shows. Come on.
because we've been
Come on.
programmed. We've been programmed
Yes.
to and miseducated on this. That this thing went both ways, expressed in certain cultures. And this is why we have Nasi that a man can have multiple women and be a player or be a king, but if
Right.
a woman has multiple mates, she's what? A whore,
There you
Hold.
go. There
Yes.
you
There you go.
an adulteress.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We got to straighten this thing. So it's not just at the brothers got to straighten this thing out in their mind. We're not
Yeah.
talking about, we're not advocating a cultural expression. We're not advocating an element of society.
Right. Come on, shows.
We're putting these energetic and creative elements back in their proper order. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Back in a balance.
Yes.
Are you all with me?
Absolutely.
But now see, yeah, we got to put that disclaimer in there. We got to put that disclaimer in there. Just like, we had to do it with the Shabbat. I can't tell nobody how to act on the Shabbat.
Right.
Whatever, however you interpret it. But we're just putting these things back in the proper perspective.
Mm-hmm.
They are in need of repair. And if we do not see the need, we got our eyes closed. We got our head in the sand.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like an ostrich.
Absolutely. with his tail in the air.
Right.
It's flipped upside down. It's flipped upside down. That's great. So we're going to continue on now, see.
Okay.
So it's supposed to be the male stimulating, that is, rubbing the amber, stimulating the female. Now, look. This is the deviant thing. Now, a female can rub the amber as well, right?
Right.
But they can't produce nothing.
Right.
Two males can get together and create some. Does it happen? I'm not advocating it, but does it happen?
Right. Yes.
But they cannot produce anything.
Yes. Yes.
And if a male and female get together at Nasi in the wrong relationship, relative to their relative to these elements interacting, they ain't gonna produce nothing either.
There's nothing either. Absolutely. Okay.
Our ancient ancestors had the ability to produce, from a physical standpoint, exactly what they needed within the culture and in the society. If they needed a judge, they would produce a judge. If they needed a prophet, they could produce a prophet.
Yeah.
Go through the scriptures.
Yeah.
And it is always like this. The woman had trouble what? Conceiving.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong. And then she would go what? Go to the divine and say, open my womb and I will dedicate the child to you. That's how Samuel was born, a prophet, right? That's how Shimshon was born, Samson was born.
Right.
Yes.
Now, all of these, Shemuel, Shimshon, y'all been on the call. That's Shem, family.
Yes.
That's that element of Shem that we've been talking about. And Shem refers to what? Something that's bright, renowned, the star.
Yeah.
Stars come down here for knowing a specific purpose. If they don't have the elemental formula together, according to the allegory, they will not be able to produce a child.
Right.
Okay.
Our ancestors used to know how to make a child.
Exactly what they wanted. Exactly
what they wanted. That would what? That would affect destiny.
Yeah.
That would influence life on earth.
Yes.
But in this male
Yeah.
patriarchy, it's become a crapshoot now, see?
Yes, it have. Yes,
Because
it
it's
have.
divorced itself from knowledge. It's divorced itself from knowledge. And we want to put all these religious restrictions on one another and still producing wind,
Still producing wind.
Right.
not producing something that has what? An interconnected influence based on knowledge. These are the difficulties that we're facing
Yes, it is.
because these things have been turned upside down. The modern church's demonization of the goddess. This is where it all started, and it even now see it preceded this. But again, I just wanted to focus on that particular area um, that we've been focusing on. You know, around the medieval Renaissance and all that kind of stuff.
Right, right.
The modern church's demonization of the goddess was understandable. Once Dan Brown went into the particulars concerning the deviant sex rites of apostate Judaism, it had to become apostate because the divine feminine was removed from its proper place.
Be right.
It had to be.
Right.
You cannot separate, Nasi, the effects from the cause.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Which simulated the so-called sacred marriage. Here we go.
Here we go. Right.
Between Yah and his female consort Shekinah
Uh-huh. Yeah.
in Solomon's temple.
Yeah.
According to the Da Vinci Code version, the Tetragrammaton Jehovah is the union of the male god Yah with the goddess Kava.
Yeah.
Their union, Yehovah or Yahava, being an ancient androgynous name
Wow.
from which Yahuwah is derived. Now see, we've been on this now. We've been on
Yeah.
this.
Right.
It was this blasphemy which the medieval Catholic Church condemned as heretical.
Wow.
Quote, early Jewish traditions involved ritual sex. We don't know nothing about this. In the temple, no less. Early Jews believed that the Holy of Holies in Solomon's temple housed not only God, but also his powerful female equal, Shekinah. Men seeking spiritual wholeness came to men seeking spiritual wholeness. Men seeking spiritual wholeness came to the temple to visit
Right.
priestesses.
Right.
Or, here you go, Herogeles. Hiero.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we get the word whore from.
Right. There you go.
With whom
There
they
you
made love and experienced the divine through physical union. If you want to cut that out, you might as well. You're not going to produce anything. The most powerful, energetic aspect to you that you have in that physical body is the one of sex.
Yeah.
I challenge you to name another.
No, that is no question.
Mm-hmm.
No question. They always say the two, one is sex and the other one is the appetite of eating.
That's absolutely correct. But these things are tied together now, see?
Yes, they are. Right.
The Jewish tetragrammaton, Yahuwah, the sacred name of God, in fact, derived from Jehovah, an androgynous physical union between the masculine Yah and the pre-Hebraic name for Eve, Kava.
Wow.
Now, this is one version of it, Nasi, but there is another pre-Adamic version of the name of the first wife of Adam.
Right. 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 Right.
And her name was Lilith. Write it
Lilith.
down.
Right.
Write it
Right.
down.
Lilith.
Lilith.
Right.
Lilith. Lilith. The first, what they said was the first wife of
Of Adam. Right.
Adam. This is the one
Right.
they demonized. They're not going to show you that here, but I'm
No, this is
letting
what.
you know.
Yeah. Right. Right.
I'm letting you know because we're going to
Yeah.
search this thing all the way out. The sisters
Mm-hmm.
need to hear this and understand your power. All right? Understand your inherent divine power. And they've demonized it. They've made it dirty. They've made it blasphemy
Yes.
and all this kind
Yes,
of
they
stuff.
did.
They
And
made it easy.
subsequently, Nasi, the same thing was obviously done with the male because the
Yeah.
feminine
Yes.
is always the influencing aspect.
Right. Right.
That's the one that they always start with.
Right.
For the early church, Langdon explained in a soft voice. This is a direct quote from the book, The Da Vinci Code. Mankind's use of sex to communicate directly to God posed a serious threat to the Catholic power base. Listen, and not just the Catholic power base, to any religious power base,
Right. Right.
Right. Mm-hmm.
any societal power base, any cultural power base, any political power base. It left the church out of the loop, undermining, listen, their self proclaimed status as the sole conduit of God, to God.
Dan Brown, yeah, boy, he was okay, wasn't he?
Absolutely. Now, see, I taught from this book, and when we
Yeah.
look, if like I'll be in the visiting room, right? And well, before that, once we would get through with the class, providing these brothers with this information, they would run to the computer room and to the phones, and they would be on the phone with their woman. You understand?
Right. Right.
So come
Uh-huh.
visiting day, I'd be in the visiting room. My Isha, I'll tell you, these women was coming up to me. Oh, you Big E? Oh man, I want to thank you for teaching us. This is
Mm-hmm.
critical.
Yes.
It's critical that we understand this
Mm-hmm.
and straighten these things out. If them brothers could get it,
Right. Come on, shows.
come on now, what can we do with it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
I say to improve their relationships. This didn't happen a couple of times.
Wow.
Zimmer, I tell you, they would come, hey, excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just want to thank you. That it changed the brothers and it changed their relationships.
Great. That's
Mm-hmm.
great.
For obvious reasons, they worked hard to demonize sex. Listen, they worked hard to demonize sex and recast it as a disgusting and sinful act. Other
Wow.
major religions did the same.
Cat, that religion piece, that's a mean piece, ain't it?
It's a
That's a
mean
Yes,
piece.
made
yes,
It's a mean piece.
disseminated reality.
Right.
yes.
Hmm. Wow.
Now listen. Now here we go. Now we're gonna read this with different eyes and hear this with different ears. Therefore, shall a man leave his father and his mother?
Yeah.
I'm gonna read that again because y'all didn't
Mhm.
hear that.
Come on, sis. Yes.
Therefore, shall a man leave his father and his mother? So the
Mhm.
woman,
Right.
now see,
Yes, sir.
when you elope, it's supposed to be the woman that is putting the ladder up to the man's window.
Yeah.
Taking him away.
Come on, sis.
Yeah. See, when you put all this in perspective, you get a whole nother understanding, don't you?
Yes, yes.
Get a whole nother perspective. Therefore
Uh,
shall a man leave his father and mother and what? Cleave unto his wife. See, we never saw
Mhm.
this like this.
no, we never taught
Mhm.
it that.
Nah, absolutely not.
And they shall be one flesh. Now, again, I've mentioned this. This is not talking about no spiritual union. It's talking about sex.
Right, right. Come on, sis.
But we couldn't, we had to spiritualize it. Why? Because
Yeah.
sex in our mind was a disgusting act. It had no place in the Bible.
It
Yes.
was a disgusting act. Catholic Church done took care of that for us.
Mhm.
Wow. Wow.
The man shall leave his father, and don't say nothing about the woman leaving her father and mother. Although that's understood, but we never read this like this.
Oh, we never read it
Come
like
on
that.
now.
No.
And
Nope.
cleave to the woman. Join
Right.
No,
himself to the woman, not the other way around.
no.
Mhm. Mhm.
The woman is primary to this. The feminine aspect is primary. It's primary. But from the beginning of the creation, God made them male and female. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother. Again, and cleave
Mhm.
to it. We never read this
Mhm.
like this.
No,
Nope.
no.
The twain shall be one flesh, not one spirit. It's talking about sex here. So
Come on,
they
sis.
are no more twain, but one flesh. What
Uh,
therefore, listen, what therefore God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. Well, why man? Because a woman would never put herself out of that primary position.
Yes.
no, we never read this like that.
Never
Nope.
read
Never.
it like this.
Never.
No. No.
Moving ahead. Now, they've separated the sex act from love and denigrated the sex act. So here we come now, see, 15th century, 1500, right?
Yeah.
Critical time period.
Critical time period.
The adjective consummate
Right.
comes into the lexicon of the language, meaning
Right.
complete, perfect, carried to the utmost extent or degree. From Latin consummates, perfected, complete, past particle of consummati, sum up or complete. Y'all get the picture.
Yeah.
Mhm.
From the word cum, together or with, and summa, sum or total. The summus, highest of
Mm.
persons, of persons accomplished, very qualified from the 1640s. So this is what this meant. It don't say nothing about no marriage now.
Right. Right.
It's
Right.
talking about the highest, completed, perfected, uttermost, to the uttermost extent or degree.
Don't say nothing about marriage, do it.
Now, from the mid 15th century, now this came in circa 1500. Now, the
Right.
mid 15th century, we know what's happening here now, see.
Yeah, we can
Uh-huh.
have, right.
We
Uh-huh.
already know. It means to bring to completion, finish by completing what is intended. All right? From the Latin consummatus, we've already talked about that. From assimilated form, come together. Summa, meaning the highest. Meaning to bring a marriage to completion by sexual intercourse is from the 1530s. Put 30
Wow.
years into it, they brought marriage into it
Right.
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
say this is how you should consummate a marriage. Let's go a little bit further because we tracing this thing I see through
Yeah.
its development through history and its effect on what? Our mentality, our perception
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
of ourselves.
Yes. Yes.
Many other modern day marriage traditions, and these are modern day marriage traditions, not
Yes.
Uh-huh.
modern day marriage tradition, have their origins in these ancient times. Newlyweds are said to have added fertility, the ability, power to create by drinking a brew made of honey. We can ready to break this down. During what? Certain lunar phases.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, sisters, y'all the star. And
Big
it
time.
is this tradition from which we derive the origins of the word honeymoon.
Honeymoon. Ha,
Wow.
ha.
Wow.
You know what? One thing I've learned in all of my study, we got to get out of this thing about some abstract spiritual something
There you
without the
go, now
physical.
see.
Everything
Yes.
has to be
You can't
connected
separate.
to reality.
Right.
Yes.
Thing.
Now, what color is honey but amber?
Mm.
Amber.
It's an amber color, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're
Mm-hmm.
gonna make this connection, family, because our ancestors, they something else. They
Yeah,
left
they were
us.
someplace else.
They've left us a meticulous, a meticulous trail backwards,
Mm-hmm.
back to this connection to the divine. So the honeymoon is described as an indefinite period of tenderness and pleasure experienced by a newlywed couple. It says, Nasi, an indefinite period.
Yeah, I see what it says.
An indefinite period.
Right.
1540s honeymoon, but probably older from honey in reference to the new marriage's sweetness.
We
See a okay, here we go. We're gonna trace this thing out, family, because this sweetness, you shouldn't lose it. You shouldn't lose it. You're an eternal being, right? You're an eternal being.
Mm-hmm.
And age, now see, shouldn't have anything to do with this.
Right,
Right.
Eitai.
Mm-hmm.
Now here we go. Now this is the yoni, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's symbolically connected to the eye.
Mm-hmm.
The eye talks about or puts us in the mind frame or in the perception of the gathering of light and energy. Also, Nasi, the gathering in of information and knowledge,
Yes.
casting our eyes toward the history of and evolution of the human brain. Got to connect it to the human brain.
Got to.
We immediately notice a number of things. We see that over time, listen, there is a gradual increase in its capacity to absorb light. Now, we talking about honey now. We still talking about honey. Stick with me.
Mm-hmm.
It's this honey mead that they used to drink, this honey mixture that they used to drink. But it wasn't about no honey like that, Nasi, that they were consuming. They were
Uh-huh.
consuming a certain type of knowledge
Yes.
Yes.
that would allow the sweetness and tenderness of physical
Mm-hmm.
union to what? Endure for an indefinite period of
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't about drinking no honey like it was some like some old fashioned Viagra. We said, family, that sex and not just sex, but the whole world, the whole multiverse exists within the brain. It is mental.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It is the world that you create
Mm-hmm.
based on what? Light, knowledge, your ability to what? Absorb light and knowledge. Listen, this is because there is an increasing darkness that covers its surface. This darkness gives it the capacity to absorb light. What are we talking about here? Melanin.
Yes.
In all cases, in the terrestrial evolution of the brain, there is an increasing density of dark neuromelanin in the higher nervous system and the brain. And with this is a growing capacity for receptivity and absorption of quanta or photons of light. Let's include in there cosmic dust.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
Mm-hmm.
is no idle correlation.
Right.
From the earliest days of embryology in our mother's womb, the evolutionary dynamics of biolife and bioconductivity are associated with light absorbing melanin. It is literally the first footsteps of life. Continuing on, the power to gather holy sparks. Someone turn to Isaiah 50 and 11 and read that for us, please.
1 second. Isaiah 50 and 11.
And 11.
Okay. Isaiah 50 and 11. All right. Verse 11. It reads, Behold, all ye that kindle a fire, that compass yourselves about with sparks, walk in the light of your fire, and in the sparks that you have kindled. This shall you have of mine hand, and you shall lie down in sorrow.
Look, it's talking about not just Nasi, the sparks that individual people can create. We talking about sparks can be made in this fallen state. Sparks are created male between male and male, female and female, correct?
Absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
But there is
Yes.
there
Yes.
is an appropriate formula that we're talking about. The feminine
This,
in her proper place, the male in his proper place.
I know exactly where you're going. Yeah, absolutely. That's it.
The power to gather holy sparks, referred to in Kabbalah, is the power to clarify reality.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we doing. We're not talking,
Yeah.
we're not trying to create no role for no woman so that we can remain in power and do all that. That's not what we trying to put this thing in its proper in its proper position. Put things back in their proper position. Why? So that we can clarify this reality.
Right.
It is the power of the heart or the power of the lion. All right? The power of the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all heard about
Mm-hmm.
lion hearted and all this kind of stuff. And also,
Yeah.
the Wizard of Oz was, in the Wizard of Oz, the cowardly lion was doing what? Searching for a heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The lion, listen, pounces on his prey, a symbol in Kabbalah for identifying and redeeming what? Fallen sparks,
Mm-hmm.
which in the consumption of his prey, she elevates to their source in holiness. In other words, if you want to ascend outside of the simulated reality, now see, you're going to need a higher food source.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And we've been encouraging everyone to what? Not focus on the solar aspect of energy, but
Mm-hmm.
the cosmic aspect of energy, cosmic dust. Note, in nature, it is the female lion or lioness who hunts, identifies, and gathers the prey. Moving forward, Judges 14 and 14. Out of the eater came forth meat, out of the strong came forth sweetness. Talking about
Yeah.
eating the honey.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
heard in the scriptures, we've seen this symbolism of
Right.
eating something, and it's described as what? Tasting sweet as honey in the mouth,
Yes. Right.
right?
Yes.
Yes.
Even the hidden
Mm-hmm.
manna, it said it was like a
Mm-hmm.
coriander seed with what? Honey on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
The hidden manna, we've already identified that as cosmic dust.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Sweet as honey is an allusion to the bee, an ancient symbol of collecting, gathering family, and preserving esoteric, hidden, inner, intuitive knowledge.
Yes. Yes.
Samson in Judges 14 was, in Judges rather, I don't know if it was the 14th chapter, he was walking along and a lion attacked him. And it said he tore
Mm-hmm.
that lion like it was a little kid
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and left the carcass of the lion there. And when he
Yes.
came
Mm-hmm.
back by, some bees have what? Put a honeycomb in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he took the honeycomb out and ate some of it. And it said he gave some of the honey to his mother and his father.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Taught him a certain kind of knowledge.
Yes.
In terms of human biochemistry, it is melanin that gives us the ability to gather, that is, absorb, preserve, and disseminate, scatter, disperse light, esoteric, intuitive knowledge. And it is critical that we start immediately, family, to apply these things that we are learning.
Yes.
Psalms 119, 103. How sweet are thy words unto my taste, yea, sweeter than honey to my mouth. Proverbs 16:24. Pleasant, agreeable, acceptable words are as an honeycomb. Sweet to what? To the soul. Not just to
And
the physical body, but also health to the bones.
now we're talking about, now when we come out of the simulated reality and we begin to understand this other realm of knowledge that is tied directly to stars, to the stardust, to
That's
that what
correct.
we call cosmic knowledge. That knowledge will take us out of the condition of physical health as well as spiritual health.
That's correct.
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
That's correct.
Yeah, clear. That's clear.
It's going to wake up the soul, and then it's going to activate corresponding relations
Yeah,
as above, so below.
clear.
As of our corresponding relationships within the physical reality.
Mm-hmm.
But we must shift our focus, and have to straighten this thing out. So this is not talking about no honey. It's talking about applying the proper knowledge,
That's what
family,
it's talking.
in
Right,
relationships.
right.
This is a cosmic formula. Now I'm going to give this symbol. I'm going to stop y'all right here. Do not think that this is the devil.
Come on,
Absolutely.
shows. Come on, shows.
We must mature in our understanding.
Mm-hmm.
We just told you that the Catholic Church demonized everything that was related to what? Sex
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
in its proper form. This speaks just like this card speaks.
Right. Come on, shows.
This is talking about the primordial androgynous form.
Yeah, yeah.
He's pointing to a moon above and a
Mm-hmm.
darker moon below, meaning as above, so below.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the 5-pointed star right in the middle of his
Mm-hmm.
forehead, family, on the throne
Yeah.
Yes.
of the pineal gland, of the pineal gland. Now see, the brothers only have the throne at the top of the
That,
head, the pineal gland, that
that,
but the female
right
from an anatomical, they got it above and below.
below,
Mm-hmm.
right, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
It's the 5 pointed
clear.
representing the 5 elements of creation.
Mm,
You see the linga between the legs with the serpent
yeah,
intertwining it,
Mm-hmm.
the staff. We've talked about all this is just a different representation. Both male and female represent the wings on his back, the feathers, family.
Right.
yeah,
The Baphomet symbolizes the union of opposites, sex. That is
yeah,
the
Mm-hmm.
sperm and the egg united in the what? Zygote. That's why he has a goat's head. It
right,
relates to something in the physical,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the zygote. And also it's talking about the goat, the black goat of Mendes, which is the melanin, which in its beginning we just talked about is the zygote. As represented in the image, drawn by black magic practitioner Eliphas Levi, whose name is on the bottom right there. There is an image of a light moon and a dark moon. The positioning of the hands is also in the opposite directions, representing the motto, as above, so below. All these sayings and symbols point to what is known as the secret doctrine. That's what we've been talking about from the beginning.
Yeah.
Which is the union of the gods with humanity. Your human aspect, what? Ascending to the divine aspect. The fusion of the sacred feminine and the masculine is nothing more than the desire on the part of the occultists for the return of the gods to earth once again to mate with not human women, because that's not what happened. That they're talking about this thing from the standpoint of the male. All right, it's returning the divine feminine or sacred feminine back to the proper position and the proper balance. All right. The Baphomet is thus seen as the father of wisdom, the liberator of the spirit, to those who are initiated by the subtle, wise serpent of Genesis garden narrative. All of these references of opposites are really alluding to the desire of the occultists to join with the spirit beings from the angelic realm. We've already dealt with that. It is the union of opposites that is the secret teaching. This is not happening outside of yourself. It happens inside yourself.
Yeah. Have to happen. Right.
Has to happen there first.
Yeah.
Let's break this down, family. This is what in the Vertuvian Man, in the story of Dan Brown of the Da Vinci Code, this was the main symbol that drove the story. All right. The one art curator, he actually when he was killed, he put himself in this position of the Vertuvian Man. This refers to the five-pointed star on the forehead of the Baphomet. And here it is, the man within the circle. You all see it?
Yeah.
The man within the circle. Now, this says right here, now see, it says Adam. And it says Kava, Eve, the divine union of the male and female. Then it says here, Yahoshua, the Christ consciousness. All right?
Right.
We tying all this together, fam. This is simple. These are the five elements that we talked about. Fire, water, air, earth, and what? Ether.
Ether. Right.
Ether. Same representation here. The man in the circle. The man in the circle. All right?
Right.
Tradition relates the cube to the earth. We've already said the earth realm is what? A box.
Yeah.
The tetrahedron with fire. The octahedron with air. The icosahedron with water. And the dodecahedron with the universe or prana, ether, a feminine symbol of protection. The circle around the naked man's body completed Da Vinci's intended message, male and female harmony or balance. That's how everyone comes in the world, encircled what? By the woman. by the
Yes,
feminine.
yes.
Yes.
And she protects you for how long? 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it says pentagon. They even use the pentagon in society, in culture, in modern culture, as what? A symbol of protection,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
Yep.
that doesn't that refers to their force and not to power.
Mm-hmm. The power.
And
Yes.
not to
Ten
power.
shows.
And this is how we've been using, the male patriarchy has been using force over the to what? Suppress the divine feminine.
Mm-hmm.
What properly was the sign of the Baphomet, the figura Baphometi, which is depicted on the breast, listen, depicted on the breast of a bust representing the creator, cannot be exactly determined. I believed it to have been the Pythagorean pentagon or funfek of health and prosperity, not evil.
Mm-hmm.
It is well
Right.
known how holy this figure was considered, and that the Gnostics had much in common with the Pythagoreans. From the prayers which the soul shall recite, according to the diagram of the Ophite worshippers. Now, remember this term, Ophanim,
Right. Wheels within the wheels.
the
Right.
wheels within the wheels.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And they're what? And they, on their return to God or divinity, are stopped by the archons, and their purity was examined. It appears that these serpent worshippers, they didn't worship no serpent. They understood what? The science of all this. Like we're
Right.
putting forth today. Believe that they must produce a token. That they had been what? Clean on earth. I believe that this token was the Holy Pentagon, the sign of their initiation. But all that means, family, is that they have what? Come back through the complete process
Mm-hmm.
of creation. They've understood that their original, that while their original what? Uh, Emanation bypassed the fire and went straight to the water, that we're what? Adding the fire element in and making it complete. Are you all with me?
Okay.
Yeah.
Bringing this to a close.
Eitai,
Yes, sir.
you've been mentioning throughout this presentation about the mental.
Yes.
That's the attribute of the element of fire.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Because
When 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 when
that's where all of it
when
is
the
occurring.
four elements.
Right.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Proverbs 30:18 and 9. Listen very carefully. There be three things which are too wonderful for me. Yea, four which I know not. Listen. The way of the eagle in the air. That's the air, right? The way of the serpent upon a
Mm-hmm.
rock. That's earth. The way
Mm-hmm.
of a ship in the midst of the sea. That's water. Here come
Water.
the other
Mm-hmm.
two. The way of a man with a maid.
Mm. Mm.
Now, Isaiah 65:25, carrying this thing forward as we close. and the wolf and the lamb shall lie together. Now, originally, family, I thought that this was the lion and the lamb shall lie together. Anybody else? I thought all my life that this said the lion shall lay together, that they shall feed together, rather.
That's what they say. Everyone that I've ever read up until recently, they started changing it.
Oh, it's
Right.
supposed to be lion, right?
All right.
Okay. So the lion and the lamb shall do what? Feed together. Feed
Right.
together. The lion shall eat straw like a bullock. There's the ox and the lion, right?
Right.
And
Right.
nuts shall be the serpent's meat. We've already
Right.
talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
We've already talked about this. That is cosmic. That's the movement from what? The solar reality to the cosmic reality.
Yes.
They shall not hurt or destroy in all my holy mountain. See, even when you eat a carrot, you're hurting something. You eat lettuce, you're hurting something. Not just the killing of an animal. You are taking the
Right.
energy that what? Now see that those things use to grow. And
Mm-hmm.
you're consuming.
Mm.
Closing out on this. Absorption, represented by the cobra. The opposite of ejection is absorption. Listen very carefully, family. The snake or the serpent is normally encircling the surface of the sun as the corona. Remember, we talked about the electric corona of the star,
Yeah.
which absorbs energy from where? The cosmos.
Mm-hmm.
The cosmos. This corona is represented as the what? Accretion disk on the black star as it what? Eats a star. See? It doesn't look like a serpent
Mm-hmm.
that is lit up.
Yeah.
That is lit up.
Right.
All of this, Nasik, like you said, it must what? Correspond to
Yeah.
something in the real world. As above,
Absolutely.
so
Right.
below.
Yeah.
As explained by Ra, the snake is shown, or the serpent, as spread out in the resting position, Shabbating, as it were. I'm going to say that again. The snake is shown spread out in the resting position, or he's taking a Shabbat.
Mm-hmm.
It all fits together. As
uh,
cold-blooded ectotherm animal, it defines absorption because of its external sources of heat to control the body temperature. A pigment is nothing more than a molecule family that absorbs waves of energy, bringing this thing to a close. The waves of energy called light. Remember, absorbing, eating these sparks, eating the sparks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absorbing light energy, absorbing cosmic energy. This is all we're talking about. Waves of energy vary in by their length, and these various waves appear to us as colors. Here we go. Red, for example, has the longest wavelength. The wave we see as green is intermittent in length. So green is the color of what? The heart chakra, correct?
mhm.
Absolutely.
They say it's intermediate, it's intermediate in length. So it's put in the middle with the chakras. The red is put at one extreme. Why? Because it has the longest wavelength.
Mm.
Breaking this down for us, family. Breaking it down. Violet, the shortest wavelength, is at the other end of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Ultraviolet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And infrared. Ultraviolet and infrared at two extremes. The longest wavelength and violet being the shortest wavelength. Are y'all with me?
Mm-hmm.
These are colors visible to the human eye. Pigments don't absorb just any light. Hear me. The typical pigment is selective about the kind of light it will absorb. Other types are just not acceptable. Rejected light can be observed as the color of the pigment. I'm going to say that again. Rejected light can be observed as the color of the pigment. So the red pigment is what? Rejecting red. Green is rejecting green, so forth and so on. A green color pigment, for example, absorbs every part of the light spectrum but green, which
Makes
is
sense.
rejected and thus observable.
Wow.
Y'all got to meditate on this like I did. Likewise, when we see red or blue or any other color, we are seeing, or what we are seeing rather, is light radiation that has been rejected, eliminated, spit out. Melanin, however, is a pigment too, and like other pigment, it absorbs specific types of light, that is, wavelengths. However, unlike other pigments, the light melanin absorbs is an invisible form known as ultraviolet radiation. As would be expected from a molecule that absorbs invisible light, the light melanin emits or rejects is anti-invisible light. Anti-invisible light. It's black. Instead of emitting colors, as do other pigments, melanin gets hot. In fact, a melanin molecule, can generate enough heat, family, to enhance and amplify chemical reactions, acting
Yeah.
in essence like a metabolism stimulating battery. This is what you
Right.
should be consuming.
Right. Right.
A metabolism stimulating battery. That's what you are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you act. But melanin is more than a light absorbing pigment. Melanin is one of the most important organizing molecules in the body. Its light absorbing properties ultimately allow it to structure a chaotic quantum waves of energy that comprise our environment into the tangible physical world we know as real.
From a wave to a particle.
Absolutely. Melanin is known as a biological transducer, which means it can convert energy forms into other energy forms. This is the power we have, family. This is the creative power we have. For example, melanin can change sound energy into light energy, light energy back to sound energy, cosmic energy into light energy into cosmic energy. That's why the Earth's wild tanning molecule is found in great abundance, both with the non-tanning eye and inner ear. So we're talking about much more, Nasi, than consuming with the
Yeah.
mouth, consuming
Yeah.
with the skin. This
Absolutely.
the mixture, the alchemy family takes place within the brain.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But
Mhm.
if your eye is damaged, meaning what? Your ability to properly absorb knowledge.
Uh-huh.
You have darkness within you.
Yeah.
But if your light,
Yes.
if your eye be single, that is healthy, your
Yeah.
perception, everything Nasi in its proper place and order. Chaos organized into what? A creative, a creative formula.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can create anything, any reality that you want to create.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Yes.
That's the challenge, family. We're giving you all of the creative elements in their proper place within the formula. All we got to do is begin to apply it.
Excellent. Excellent. Excellent.
So, with that, I'm going to say wholeness, open it up for questions and comments.